Hello everybody, my name is Aceikith Gaming and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You're probably thinking first of all that this is a VRS sprint race from week 1 of season 4 2020. I'm going to tell you, you are actually wrong. This is actually a league race that we're participating. This is round 1 of the Turn7Racing GT3 Pro Championship. So we've entered the GT3 Championship, which has been hosted by Turn7Racing. I'm going to leave a link to the Discord in the description below, and also a link in the description below of the live broadcast that they did live on Twitch over the course of this race. So as I've been recording this, they've also been doing a live commentary of the race themselves. They've also done an interview, which you can grab the footage of my interview on there as well towards the end of the broadcast. So we start relatively towards the back. We're starting P16, and this is a rather large field. There's a lot of Ferraris, there is a lot of Audis, there's a fair amount of McLarens, there's a decent amount of Mercedes, there is a few BMWs, which as you can see we are on the Falcon Racing BMW Z4. So obviously we can take in any car number that we wish. I've gone with the normal number that I normally go with for my races that I do that is unofficial, and that is the number 64. If you do not know, this was the very first kart number that I had when I got my first ever go-kart at the age of 8, and it's always stuck with me. So the number 64 to me has been a bit of a lucky number, I will be honest. So it's always basically for me, if it's available, I will take it. So just before we get into the race, if you do like the video, don't forget to give it a like, because it does help out the channel quite a lot. Allows people to get to know me as a YouTube content creator. I am also helping out Turn7Racing a little bit to try and get in more numbers, you know, because this is a brand new series for them. So, like, if we can get in even more drivers, then that would be perfect, of course. So, that would be a big bonus for not just myself to be able to race against, but also for them to have more of a bigger field. Like, this first race is already a decent size, by the way. And if you do wish to view more videos from myself, then you can also click the subscribe button and also click the bell. So, that way it gives you notification for any later videos I may upload in the future. But for now, let's get into our first league race that will be uploaded to the channel. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so less than a minute until we start getting off. It's a little bit unusual that I do not do unofficial races, but I do league races instead. This is my first one that I've done for a little while. My first one actually in a GT car. I've only ever done one league majorly before, and that was in the Formula 3. That was quite some time ago. That's going back to about a year ago. It's more than a year ago actually now, thinking about it. Probably a year and a half actually. So, and I normally wouldn't do recordings this later into the day. So it's a single class of GT3, but as you can probably tell in the brackets, so you've got P's and you've got A's. So the P is what we are in, it's the pros. And the A's mean amateur. So how we work this out is that pros have above 1.9k I rating, and the amateurs
is 33
have
Celsius.
less
temp
than
is
1.9k I rating. That is how we work it out. So
Follow car number 48 in the left column.
we'll see how we get on. We're not, obviously there's no I rating or safety rating up for grabs. So all it is bragging rights to a league championship. As you can see on the top right hand corner of the screen, that is the logo for the league host, Turn7Racing. If you want to go and check them out, I will leave a link to the Discord down in the description below. You can enter the championship itself through that, and they do ask that your minimum license is C and that your minimum I rating is at least 900. So it's not too big of a thing, but we are going to really concentrate. So I won't be talking quite so much about you during the race. A lot of the drivers do take this seriously.
Okay, Al, are you ready? Watch for the lights. Green, green, green.
Right, let's go. Make it nice and easy going into T1.
Car right, clear right. On your right. Hold your line. Hold your line. Clear right. Right side.
So a
Still
little bit of
there.
argy-bargy around us.
Still there. Hold your line. Hold your line. Clear right.
That's actually quite clever. We forced the BMW to brake a little bit later than us, and he went into the McLaren, so it gave us a free position. It was quite fortunate for us. Oh, that Ferrari's gone sideways. Been quite fortunate for us. We've had quite a bit of bad luck. I've recorded 2 other races, both of them officials today. I've recorded the ILMS, spun on lap 1. And it was just basically, you're never really going to recover around a track like the Sebring. Hopefully he's gone round as well. It's Keys.
P14.
And then we did IMSA, which we had very good pace, honestly. Just unfortunate that somebody rammed us in the rear.
Harper, yellow flag.
Oh,
Watch
that's
out.
another one. Oh, do not come out on the track. I honestly didn't know if he was going to come out on track then for a minute. It was P3 as well. I feel this car is actually very good on race pace in the long run. All we've added to the car, like we've taken the PDS setup, obviously put more fuel in and adjusted the ride height. Oh, bit of a smack in the back.
There's an incident in Turn 5. It looks like Pro.
That will help us out quite a bit. The only other adjustment that I've made to the setup is added a little bit more front rotation. That's literally all I've done. Is adjusted the fuel because it's an hour-long race instead of 40 minutes with the VRS series. Then we've adjusted the ride height, more so to the rear of the car. Then after that we just added 1 click of rotation to get a little bit more oversteer on the front end of the car, because it did desperately need that, particularly around this section of track, and it definitely helps out quite a lot. But that's one thing that this car does struggle with, is rotation. It isn't a great track for this car. You just have to be patient, try and build yourself up, and that's what we're doing. We're what? We're now P14, P13 now.
The lap time was at 1:49.
So we're steadily making pace. But it's more because everybody else is just crashing into each other, which helps us out. Yeah, and you guys know, I don't typically do GT3 all that much. But this was a series that I wanted to try and get into. And if we have decent pace in this car, with the limited experience that we have compared to everybody else. Like before yesterday, I did no laps in this car on this track for VRS whatsoever. So to be this far up the field, and bear in mind most of the drivers probably been doing VRS all week last week.
Gap to Gray in front is now 1.6 seconds.
So I will actually say I'll take it. I will actually take this, no problem. Just got to be patient. That's all we need to do. We have got some amateurs around us. Well, I'm the only amateur in this 7-car squad. Oh, he's gone round.
Turn 14. You think it might be? Great.
I'll take these positions happily. You know, I'm not really battling anybody.
V12. That was
Okay, 47.7,
47.69.
which is about where we want to be.
Off the pace.
The race pace. I'm not really pushing the car all that much. Just maintaining this gap that's behind me right now. And I am getting away from them. But maybe I might need to start pushing a little bit more. Just to catch up to Jamie a little bit. Maybe to put him under a little bit of pressure, if I can. But I probably will say that the BMW is not the best of cars around this track. And so I know this first round's going to be a bit more difficult. A little bit wide there. Just had a sort of like bug just fly right in the front of the screen.
You've just done a 147.
I don't know what it was for a minute. Obviously something's gotten into the room. It's flying right above me right now. Probably not the right time to be having something putting me off.
The gap in front is now 3.0.
Okay, I'm fine with this. I'm fine with this right now. The guys behind me are all battling each other.
Will open after 27 minutes and closes at about 44 minutes.
So all the guys behind me are all battling each other. I'm happy with that. Right now we're just setting our own pace and just looking after the tyres the best we can. So this is a track that really you can't look after the tyres necessarily. That's more because of how much turning in you've got to do with all these long corners.
That lap time was 147.84. The gap in front is now 3.3.
And somebody's had a minor excursion, I think, just now. But I'm glad that I'm just having a good race this time around.
There's an incident in turn 14.
Well, that's just up ahead, I think. If not just behind us.
Your lap time was 48.06. Sector 1 is 0.33 off the pace. You were second off the pace in Sector 2. Sector 3 is 0.8 off the pace.
Okay, it might be a good idea that I start trying to put in a little bit more pace in. There's only 2 more guys behind me right now. And track temperature's starting to come down a little bit. But this car would definitely be good as the track temperature lowers. And it should do so as we go into the last 15 minutes. And I think that's pretty much our target. Yes, we're coming up to a back marker already. And it's only been, what, 12 minutes.
The gap ahead is now 3.8.
Of course, you know what I'm like normally. If I'm coming up to a back marker, I'll flash them. We're not allowed to do that in this series, so. But they must obey blue flags. That is the one rule for them. Because of it being a single car class, if they get a blue flag, they must obey it. So, instead of the normal iRacing rule where it's basically that they can just continue on, it's up to the faster car to get past them. They actually do have to allow you through in a safe manner. That is the extra couple of rules that they have put into the series, which is perfectly understandable.
Your lap times are dropping off. Come on, you can do better than this.
Okay, they're both starting to catch up, Paul and Claus. Of course, I don't know any of these drivers particularly well. So this series will allow me to get to know all these drivers, the characteristics of how they act around me, if I do get into any fights. Of course, we will need to make a pit stop during this race as well. The fuel limit compared to the VRS series, as you know, is 50% for VRS Sprint. In this series, it's 70% for the fuel limit. That's across all the cars that you can select in the series.
Is now 4.2 seconds. Your last lap time was at 1:47.83.
Okay, that's a little bit more like it. We need to pick up this pace a little bit. Our last lap was good, but we need to keep doing these mid to high 47s. Maintain the gap. We've got a back marker just in front of us.
Car right, clear to the right.
Probably not the best of places to be allowing somebody to overtake you. But what's done is done.
Sector 2 is a second off the pace.
Just maybe you didn't realise I was catching them up at that point. They haven't really lost any time to anybody behind us. It's more to do with in front of us right now. And I'm guessing the two amateur class cars ahead of us is probably the leaders in the amateur class. If not, there's quite close.
4.9.
We're near enough a third into the race already. 42.5 minutes left. We've got 0x, which is good. We're setting decent pace. I would like it to maybe be a little bit quicker, but we are starting to catch up to the three guys in front as they start to engage in battle. But this car will be better later on in the race. This is what this car is built for. It's for the latter stages. Which is weird to say because normally the Z4 is a bit of a monster. It is on its front end, so you'd think it's murdered its tyres. But to be honest, overall, I don't think this car is that bad compared to other GT3 cars in car world. I honestly do not believe that. I think probably the car that is the roughest on it is probably the Audi, but then the Audi is probably the fastest overall across the selection of tracks that GT3 cars typically do. Ferrari GT3 is not far off of it. The McLaren's been getting better. It has as well. Its acceleration top end speed's very good. It's just a little bit more difficult to drive. It is. As well as the Ford GT. The Ford GT started coming back last season. It's finally become a decent car. People started driving it because it was just a meme thing. But honestly, I think it took everybody by surprise when it started actually getting some decent results. Even in top split, it was getting good drivers, positive IR. But I think really any GT3 car pretty much is all very good. Like when I first started driving GT3, it was always the Mercedes for me. It was the perfectly balanced car that would be very good across all different types of tracks. I think now it's probably that the BMW and the Mercedes have now both fallen off a bit, but they are the safest cars. But that's in my opinion anyway. We'll get off that outside curb.
Front is now 4.9.
You want to be on that outside curb on the exit, but not that high. Okay, so we're a third of the way through. We could enter pit road now and start a pit cycle, but we're clear air all around us. That really will be a waste to do it right now.
There's an incident in turn 7. Looks like it's Rose. Incident in turn 8. We think it might be Rose.
Okay, so there's two drivers with surname Rose, as you can see, P2, P3. One of them is spun just up ahead. They've probably got going by now, but that's important. But both are front runners.
There's an incident in turn 10. It looks like Rose.
Okay, something more is happening. unless my crew chief is bugging out and he's thinking that one of the roses are somewhere else on track. I'm gonna say that it's bugging out because I think that both of them would have crossed the line by now. I think they have, unless maybe there's a third. Oh no, okay, there you go.
The car in front is pitting.
Okay, Jamie's already pitting.
Harry behind is now 6.4
Which,
seconds.
by the way, might be a good thing to do. He's behind other drivers. I would probably say he might be quicker though.
You've got half your fuel left.
So bear in mind, when we cross the finish line this time around, we'll be up to P11, but our net position's P12. So we do need to remember that. I broke a bit late there. Not really an area of the track that you do want to be braking late. So you lose a huge chunk of time there. .6. It's starting to drop off on pace a little bit again. I think that's more of the tyres. Possibly. Maybe I'm eating up more of the front tyres than I realise. Bear in mind, I'm more used to driving prototype cars at the moment. So driving GT3 cars I'm not going to be quite so gentle with. And in these longer races, there is a little bit of tyre management that you could possibly do and get away with it.
To Harry behind us now 6.6.
All the guys in front of us have such great pace. Like, I feel like I have decent pace, but I'm not quite there to be at the front, no way near it. We're just sitting here in our own little lonely race, really. Oh, little side step. Car just got a little out of shape there. Did that during qualifying, sent the car around. Almost getting collected by somebody. Okay, track temperature is sticking at 32 at the moment. If we could lower down 2 more, that would be perfect. I don't think it's going to do it anytime soon. Bear in mind, this session started at a track temperature of 37 degrees. This car wasn't necessarily built with this setup to have a high track temperature. It needed lower track temperature. I was kind of hoping it would be about 30 by around about now. But these are the kind of mistakes that you just make, especially come to race day.
That was at 148.00.
Thank you.
The gap to Perry behind is now 7.5 seconds.
So now that we are a lot more spread out, a ton of the voice comes out just in case any drivers say anything.
Alright Al, that's half distance. We estimate 30 minutes of fuel remaining.
Okay, we're at the halfway point of the race, so that's good. And that position, I'll just remind you now, and that position's P12. We've had one driver who was ahead of us pitted already. I don't think overall we'll have the pace to catch up to the guys in front unless anything happens. But the guys behind us aren't necessarily keeping to our pace frequently.
That's good consistency, keep it up. There's an incident in turn 15. Looks like it's Williams.
Okay, that's P3 yet again. Somebody else now, it's Bosch Williams. He's obviously had a little incident somewhere. Obviously they're having a lot more hard racing than what we are. But we're kind of like stuck in a position where, because we were careful at the start, we're a little bit more further back from everybody else ahead of us. They're getting drafted while we're not. This is kind of like my thought process. Is that if I was more aggressive, what could have happened? Could I have been in an incident myself? Or would I be up with the two guys in front of me right now? Now that's kind of my thought process. I think, really, like in an ideal world, I would have loved to have been able to have been more aggressive. But owing to the fact that this is the first round of the new season, like this is a league, it isn't like you're passing for iRacing or safety racing.
You've got 10 minutes of fuel remaining.
But what I'm trying to put out is like, is it worth being aggressive at the start sometimes when you will probably know that you'll be in this sort of predicament where you're in open air all around you? But how do you take start yourselves? You know, do you tend to be aggressive to try and gain a position or two? Or are you more passive like I am? Just wait for people to make mistakes and then you make the easy overtake. Because I don't tend to do many aggressive overtakes normally.
The track temperature's decreasing. It's now 31 Celsius.
But the car wanted to snap again.
Position.
Right, I'm going to try and save a little bit of fuel for just this lap. So in that way I can assure I can go this extra lap. Because I feel I can, but I just need to save a tiny little bit of fuel right now. We're just going to put the brake bias up just a little bit. It is snaking a little bit on the front end. Particularly on off-camber turns. There we go, that feels a lot better now.
The lap time was at 1:48.57.
Now, Bosch's already pitted in for more fuel, so he should be able to overtake us pretty easily. So really, I need him to overtake me ASAP. If he's right behind me, and I'm right on the final sector and he still hasn't passed me, I'm probably just going to pit in there and then. it's just in that way I do not lose any time. He'll probably just overtake me into T1. Like, he has got more and more... He has got a car with a bit more straight line speed. So... It might be worth me just staying out anyway.
Williams is getting closer. The gap's now 2.8. Quicker than you, entering turn 14. Incident in turn 12.
It seems like that I've now saved enough fuel. And just in that way I can make that extra lap last.
That's 5 minutes of fuel left.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold up Boschert, really, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to literally just let him through. I don't want to lose too much time, just in case I'm having a battle with anybody at the closing stage of the race. But if he's alongside me, I'm just going to let him take the spot. Because we're not in the same race together right now, so... Like, he's battling for a podium. We're a little bit off of top 10, so he's already made his stop, I haven't.
That lap was a 147.95. Sector 1 is 0.37 off the pace. Sector 2 is 0.6 off the pace. Sector 3 is 0.7 off the pace. We're running on fumes, mate. Hit this lap, in this lap. That's 20 minutes to go, 20 minutes. There's an incident in turn 5.
Thank you, mate.
Okay, track temperature's now down to 31. My now was hoping it would be about 28, 29.
Is pitting.
But of course it hasn't.
Williams is reeling you in. The gap's now 0.6. They're quicker than us entering turn 10, E9.
Give him some slight micro stutters there.
Rose is now leading.
Thank.
Okay, Al, hold your nerve, just keep it smooth, no mistakes.
Well, Boscher's actually not been able to maintain straight line speed on the top of the straight. I'm quite surprised with that.
On your left.
There's an incident in turn 8. It looks like God.
Clear left.
Don't panic, we'll get him back. 2 litres left.
Wow. That'll be a little highlight for the Discord page. Right, so we're going to have to box in this lap. Like I'd probably say we've actually done a very decent job. We've maintained the pace with the guys behind us.
The leader, Rose, is pitting. 1 litre remaining. Fletcher is leading the race.
So, let's go into pit road.
Pit lane speed limit is 80 kilometres per hour. We'll fuel you to the end of the race.
Good. Okay, so 0x with near enough 3/4 of the race done. And we got ahead of Simon Dodd in the pits.
Track's clear. Push, push, push.
So we might be actually having a battle now on track. Going to the end of the race. And Stefan's behind us as well for some reason. Not sure if he's made a mistake or whether he got a stop. It's some sort of penalty for speeding in the pits, maybe. It's possible.
Minutes left, that's 15 minutes.
No, Stefan's way quicker than us. By more than a second, so there's really no point in necessarily trying to make a battle out of it. Simon, I'm not so sure of.
Jones is closing you down. The gap has come down to 1.4 seconds. They're faster than us into turn 4.
I'd say that was a good outlap. Like we are now on for a top 10 finish. But these 2 positions, we've managed to gain 3 positions in the pit stops. Both of the 2 cars behind me right now are both Ferraris. they're going to have much better top end speed than what I am. I feel like my front tyres are just...
Incident in turn 13. We think it might be Dodd.
Well, Dodd's actually made another mistake. Actually makes me feel a lot better about not challenging Stefan now.
Incident in turn 2. Looks like it's Pro. Defend your position. Don't let him through.
It's going to be a lot easier. It's going to be easier said than done. A little bit twitchy.
There's an incident in turn 10.
Thank you. Well, it's been quite a bit of racing, but this is the first proper bit of action since the start. As long as we do not wiggle ourselves out. He is putting us under a high amount of pressure, I will admit.
That was a 148.38. You're a second down in sector 3.
Right side. He's still there. Clear to the right.
Oh, that was a good move from Stefan, that was.
Come on out, don't let him get away.
Nothing I could have done.
Remaining 10 minutes. We're looking all right here. Keep your concentration nice and smooth.
Obviously something's gone on, I would say, during his pit stop to why he's this far back.
The gap to Jones ahead is increasing. It's now 1.1.
Maybe I should have defended the position. He's not gaining on me that much on the straight. But around the rest of the track, he is faster than me.
10th position. That was 149.01.
I think this isn't even one of my best tracks. It's probably one of my more worst tracks. You know, this is what makes me happy about it being in the top 10 right now. A little bit of oversteer on the exit.
Jones.
I'm going to be honest, it's actually a bit hot in this room right now
9
as well.
seconds.
I was supposed to have turned... Yeah, I was supposed to have turned the fan on during my stop. Completely forgot about it.
Good.
Okay, Al, you've got 10 minutes of fuel remaining.
So, that was my mistake. And we're still at 0x, by the way. I'm wondering if there is anybody else on track who is also on 0x right now. Because it probably isn't. Just goes to show, in a way, I was supposed to have been having an IMSA race and an ILMS race being uploaded over the course of the next week. Neither of it's going to happen, unfortunately,
48.58.
because both races had an incident,
5 minutes remaining. 5 minutes
which was
left.
beyond my control. So, the bounce back for them two races. I know this is only a league race, and we haven't had a huge amount of practice, especially compared to the guys all around us. I think with doing VRS sprint races, maybe get used to this car a bit more. I think we'll actually do alright in the series, honestly.
There's an incident in turn 10.
Okay, just less than 3.5 minutes left.
You've just done a 48.89.
I think really, to be honest, it's now just making sure that we're 100% safe. We don't need to push hard anymore. We're too far away from the guy behind.
Jones in front is now 5.2.
I don't think we're going to catch Stefan, honestly. No, we could try and keep with Stefan, but I just don't think it's possible in this car. You know, but I'm happy with the choice that we've made for the season. Like, I knew going into the series that the first round wasn't going to be exactly the greatest of races. But the BMW isn't really built for this track. But I'm happy with the choice that I've made. Because, especially towards the end of the season, this car will probably be the car to beat. Because of some of the tracks that this car is going to be on. But we've got Bathurst towards the end of the season. And this car is always the best car to drive.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
It always has been. So the next lap should be the last lap. We haven't got too much longer to go now.
That last lap was at 148.40.
Thank you.
And I'll be honest, going into this race, I was very nervous.
Right out. 5 minutes of fuel remaining. 5 minutes.
I'm not the type of person to do league racing very much. And I do like going into races where something else matters. Like, this is probably one of the best leagues you could possibly be a part of. Like, that's for, like, my first response to it. Oh, almost gone off track there. And the thing was, right in the middle of the pack. I was right in the middle of the pack at the start of the race. We was right around a few incidents as well. So we're now,
One more lap to go. Very little fuel left.
so we're now on the final lap.
Consistency. Keep them coming.
But I'd definitely say this has been a tough race. But it's definitely been an enjoyable one.
Thank you.
P10.
It's been more about setting average pace.
Keep pulling away from the guy behind. The gap's now 11 seconds.
Now that's been very important, especially in the early stages of the race. Well, some of these guys in front of me are just in another level. Whoa! Okay.
That's 2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
So Billy Fletcher's won the race overall.
That's a good race, Rasmus, that all the way.
But that's pretty much it. We've just got the final turn to do now. But I definitely take that result. For a person that doesn't do GT3 that much, a petite 10 finish.
There's an incident in turn 1. Looks like it's Jones. P10. Okay, that's the finish. Well done, mate.
Definitely take that result any day. So obviously I can't tell who won the amateur class, honestly, but we'll have a look in a bit. Depends where we are also in the pro class. Of course, we're never going to be at the very front just yet in the pro class. That would take quite a bit of a game that we'll need to manage. But I think we'll practice a lot of the patience, and we'll probably get there. So I'll leave it there. I'll have a look at a few incidents, particularly during the start, and then we'll have a look at the race results. So I'll take this car around the rest of the track, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so that's the first race of the season done with. I'm going to go over an incident that happened directly behind me on the second lap. That was between Matt Crow and Elliot Harper. This is, I'm pretty sure, going to be investigated. You'll see the incident in a moment because it's in the next turn coming up. And then we'll have a look from the overtake from Stefan Jones for how he overtook me. I'll show you what I probably could have done to avoid that. So you can see here, you won't be able to see the initial pass, but Elliot has broke far too late. And you can see, because he's broke far too late, he's then gone into the back of Matt Crow, and this McLaren here, it then gets into the side of him because of the momentum's just being pushed way far back. I'm going to go into another TV view because that's not the greatest. So you can see Matt is just following me. He isn't, and he has every right to do this. He's never going to expect a car to charge in the way that they did. So I'm not sure if that is due to inexperience of a start race to something like this, or whether that is just his natural driving style. Like, I'm not sure what his driver iRacing is. I will be honest, they did have another incident later on in the race between the two of them, and it was something a little bit similar, but I won't show it, to be honest, because I don't want to instigate the issue. It's more about learning of how to not get into these sort of mistakes. I will go back to Elliot and we'll see. We'll go into a cockpit cam actually, because it will show you. So there's a queue of cars. Yeah, he just broke far too late. He has, so I think he's not intended to exactly go into another car. He's not trying to overtake. I think he's just broke far too late. But in a league race, you are still going to be punished. You are, unfortunately. So that is the whole point of league racing. So it's a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, you can see Elliot is actually another pro driver. So of course, like, there's pro drivers, there's going to be a little bit of a higher expectation. But obviously, you know, these things are going to happen. But, you know, it's one of them sort of things. So obviously this will probably get investigated. So we won't talk about it too much further, because we don't obviously want to exacerbate the issue. So we'll leave that to the jurors to decide what they want to do, and we'll leave it there. Okay, so this isn't really an incident, but I'm going to show you something. This is a very good pass from Stefan that he made. So I'll let you roll this over for now. I almost made contact with him, but because I've left him the space to go to the inside, he's managed to push me away from him straight away. Like, I could have gone into the rear of him, possibly, but he's used the space, which is very good at Stefan. So we can definitely tell from this first race, Stefan is probably going to be a driver to watch out for. Obviously, this first race, we're not sure what happened to him exactly, but it showed he's a very skilled driver. So what we'll do, we'll go onto his cockpit cam. So he sizes me up, pulls over to the right. He kicks this inside curve. He manages to get enough momentum that he's able to just get to there. Let's see, we'll show you a rear cam as well. So it's at this point here, I probably could have blocked it, but in my view, I was thinking, yes, he's going to grab the inside. But then on the left-hander, I was thinking that I was going to get him there. And he would have lost all momentum going through turn 1. So this was my mistake, that I didn't really defend my position. I allowed him to make the overtake. I didn't expect him to get that much of a run on turn 1. Like, part of me is because I did actually make a mistake by going a little bit too wide. Look, I gave him a bit too much space there, as you can see, and that was the whole reason why he managed to make the overtake in the first place. If you notice a couple of laps beforehand, I will show you the lap beforehand. You can see this was the lap previous. He wasn't quite as close and he wasn't catching up to me. This is because the power of the BMW is quite high, but it just doesn't have the rotation that the Ferrari does. That is the only thing. It has a little bit more top end speed and it's not able to utilise that. So he knew how to overtake me. He just needed to wait for his moment. He did. I didn't see it coming, and that's how he made the overtake. Okay, so the race results for the round 1 of the brand new Turn7Racing GT3 Pro Am Championship. Of course, on this particular screen, you won't be able to see who is pro and who is amateur class. But I will tell you the results now. So as you can see, I finished P10 overall. Mikel Pachet was P8 overall, but he finished P1 in the amateur class. He's the first one of the amateur class drivers. So he won the amateur class race. We finished P9 in the pro class. As you can see, just a little bit further behind from Stefan, who overtook us in the closing stage of the race. You can see how big of a gap he managed to build up on us because of our front tyres just being heavily worn at the end of the race. So we couldn't really do too much about it. But I'm glad that we managed to actually keep ahead of the other guys in front. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Simon. As you can see, finished P13 in overall. He wasn't that far behind me. He made a mistake on the lap before we both pitted in, and we managed to get ahead of him in the pits. So I'm not sure if he was just trying to fix a little bit of damage maybe, or maybe he had overfilled the car. Because bear in mind, VRS Sprint Race Series races are normally 40 minutes and not an hour. So it could be that he did overfill the car a little bit, possibly. But I'm not entirely 100% sure on that. I could be wrong. Like, obviously, I won't be able to see his point of view unless I get shown footage of that myself. So, obviously, I'll be watching the broadcast straight after I've done all of this recording as well. So, but yeah, so P10 finish overall, which I'm very happy about, especially after starting P16. You can see that some drivers actually starting more towards the back were actually also getting very good finishes. Like Klaus Nielsen started P22. Finished P12. So, and look, DTR Divider, P28 start, P16 finish. So, you know, there's some good races overall that some people have. You can see Elliot Harper started P4, finished P30, and I did notice he get into a couple of incidents. So it's unfortunate for Elliot. Obviously, these are not confirmed race results from the moment that I do upload. Of course, there can be penalties that can be applied by the stewards. We do have live stewards in these races as well. So, although you can see these race results, if any race results do get errated, then obviously they will be put down in the description below for yourselves to be able to read as well. So, I'd say it's a very good finish considering that I don't do any GT3 racing. So, that was round 1 of the brand new Turn7Racing GT3 Pro Am Championship. It was definitely a race where I needed to make sure I was keeping a very consistent pace. I knew that the BMW Z4 wasn't going to be the greatest of the cars around this track, but next week we are at my home track of Brands Hatch, which not only is it a good track for me, but it's also a very good track for the BMW Z4. So although I know that for a car that isn't exactly up there on the first round at Catalonia, I'm pretty sure that we can actually capitalise on our good result from the first round and get an even better result going into the second round of the championship. But obviously we need to work hard for it. Even though it is my home track, I know very well it can punish somebody that isn't aware of their surroundings, so it's going to be another very difficult race. But obviously it's going to be the same for everybody. So I hope you enjoy that race. I know I did, especially with the battle that I had with Stefan. He made a very, very good overtaking maneuver to overtake for the position close to the end of the race. A little bit unfortunate that he got a little bit more further back than what he did, but he definitely earned the spot there to overtake me there towards the end. But a P10 finish overall, P9 in class in the pros. So we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys soon.